One man, one mission, to rid the world of chronic anxiety once and for all. The anxiety guy, Dennis Simsek, shares his personal transformation from living a life filled with overwhelming worry to becoming a full-fledged positivity machine, a leading authority in generalized anxiety. Dennis gets to the truth of your mental health challenges and sets you on a path to transforming each and every area of your life. Here he is, the one and only, the anxiety guy.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 222 of the Anxiety Guy podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Simsek, and this podcast episode is brought to you by my website at theanxietyguy.com. Head on over, read some of the blogs, learn more about previous podcast episodes, get into my programs, begin your healing at theanxietyguy.com. And can I say that all the YouTubers out there that are commenting on my latest videos, thank you. Thank you for your engagement, thank you for your love, and thank you for your trust in that content. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and we will continue to not just talk about our challenges, but heal our challenges together. Warriors, in today's podcast episode, I want to talk about a subject that I never have before, but it's very, very important because there's a lot of people out there questioning whether they are a highly sensitized person or not. Where does it come from? How does it continue in a person's life? A highly sensitive person is defined as someone who has an acute reaction to physical and emotional stimuli. Now, we could say that, I get this description, but doesn't every anxiety sufferer have an acute reaction to physical and emotional stimuli? So, aren't all anxiety sufferers HSPs? This is a question that I've been pondering lately. We need to separate the two, and we need to understand what to do. A question that I've pondered lately is this: did being a highly sensitized person myself affect my childhood? Did my childhood put me in the category of being an HSP? Or was generational trauma a factor? Think about that for a second. Let's not just fall for the very first piece of content that we run into and say that's the way it is when it comes to highly sensitized people. Let's question these things. So with epigenetics, we now understand that it's not the genes so much as the thinking we do that activates a certain gene within us, causing a personality trait similar or different to our family history to arise. So when people start to say, hey, it's in the genes, well, epigenetics tells us that that's false. And the truth is that certain things that we do and certain ways of thinking and perceiving activates certain genes compared to deactivating other genes. Now, these people, highly sensitized people, process sensory data more deeply than others. And you're probably going, yep, that's me. That's exactly who I am. Now, commonly known as sensory processing sensitivity, SPS. HSP is not a disorder, warriors. It's not a disorder. Rather, it's a character trait. Let's get that straight. HSP can lead to placing greater and greater mental limits on ourselves, which forces us to live a more and more restrictive life. Think about that. When you get a label, boom, you got that label imprinted into you after a diagnosis. A lot of people carry that around. I am this way. And they rearrange their entire lives, their relationships, based around the label. This is who I am, and a part of me wants to protect this label to some extent because, hey, I have some form of identity. I know who I am now. I am this anxiety disorder, or I am a highly sensitized person, whatever it is. One thing you don't want to do is use the label of HSP to get you out of sticky situations, to live in a bubble your whole life, or play the victim role. You don't want to go there. Yes, the label of HSP can be very valuable when we don't want to do something. However, it's not a life sentence, and in order for us to grow and evolve as people and continue to contribute in a loving way, we must face our challenges through compassion and baby steps from time to time. This means that the label of HSP doesn't need to be carried around in every aspect of your life. Now, let's understand 5 ideas around being a highly sensitized person. These are things that I've recognized in HSPs over the years. Number 1 is they become overwhelmed when they have a lot to do. When you think about multitasking, oh my goodness, just the idea of doing more than one task overwhelms HSPs completely. I mean, you could go to the restaurant and look at the menu and be overwhelmed if you're an HSP. Now, here's an important fact, an idea that we need to make sure we consider. Is a depleted nervous system due to common traumas throughout a person's life to blame for this? Or is it related to just being an HSP? That idea, that debate is still ongoing in my mind. I can't give you a firm answer yet. But we do need to understand that wherever this sensitivity came from, we need to get into the minds and bodies and spirits of these people and understand that, hey, they are easily overwhelmed. They cannot handle jobs where they're given multitasks. They cannot handle big crowds of people. They cannot handle situations where things are getting out of hand. So when we can understand and have a certain amount of empathy for these people, then what's going to happen is we're going to be able to more easily communicate with them and help them. The second thing we need to understand is they have a deeper sense of when others are overwhelmed and need a change of some sort. They are more empathetic than most people. I've recognized this over and over and over again. They are more empathetic than most people. They just sense when someone is going through something that is in fact overwhelming them. And they just sense the right thing to do in that moment. They know. Let's say somebody's cold. Hey, do you want my jacket? Or, ooh, I feel like there's something on your mind. Do you want to talk about it? They have that innate sense that I just love. I love it because so many people these days are in their heads and self-absorbed, and they just don't have this ability to understand others. But HSPs do. Number 3 is they are highly sensitive to loud noises and bright lights. And you're going, yeah, exactly, that's me. Now, could this be connected to one or multiple traumatic events from the past, or just in their organic makeup? Again, the choice is yours as to what to believe. But in terms of the person being a highly sensitized person today, they are highly sensitized to loud noises and bright lights. you'll find their system asking, begging for some peace. Please get me out of here. I can't wait to get back home. I can't wait to be in some kind of darker environment. These lights are bothering me. So, let's understand that. Number 4, they hide their emotions because they were taught by others and self-taught to retreat. The conscious mind was never allowed or taught how to engage in a problem. Retreat was the most natural survival response, as well as a common response we saw in our authority figures. So what did we do? We adopted it. Let's just run from everything. And when an emotion shows up, especially for the guys out there, when an emotion shows up, it gets stuffed deeper and deeper inside. Because they were taught not to show their emotions, not to show any kind of weakness. How false. When we were kids, we were all out there. These are the healthiest people in the world that can express their emotions just the way they want to. Of course, you don't want to be raging all over the place, but we all know our limits. We all know what balance truly is. So they hide their emotions because they were taught by others and self-taught to retreat. And finally, HSPs are highly sensitive to rejection. Oh my goodness, I see this in every HSP. This means that if a stranger doesn't respond to our communication the way we'd like them to, if we get denied by a job we applied for, or if no one speaks to us at a party, they crumble fast. They crumble. The situation is made 10 times, 100 times worse than what just happened. That stranger that didn't respond to you recognizes that that's a very neutral situation and moves on in their lives right away. But someone who's a highly sensitized person will play out that scenario over and over and over again and beat it to death. So let's understand that they are highly sensitive to rejection. And I bet you're nodding your head right now going, yep, that's all me. That's all me, Dennis. You explained me to a T. Perfect. Now let's figure out what to do about it. Okay, because I've recognized a few very important things that highly sensitive people need to focus on in order to begin healing themselves from this level of sensitivity. Number 1 is they need a Zen area, a place to spend time in daily that takes you away from the busy world and your busy mind. Silence is an HSP's best friend. Remember that. Silence. And in the beginning, it's going to be uncomfortable. Your mind is going to wander. And isn't that the practice? When your mind wanders, to bring it right back to this moment, to focus on the blackness when you close your eyes, to focus on your breathing consciously, those sorts of things. So a Zen area is absolutely essential for HSPs. Secondly, a daily outlet for their creative sides. HSPs have to get back in touch with their creative sides and stop trying to survive day by day. These creative sides could be anything and everything. I mean, there's a host of ideas that I could present to you. The idea is, what is your creative side? And what have you put on the shelf because of this level of sensitivity? Get back into it. Number 3 is breathe consciously and intentionally through directional breathing. Wherever in your body you're storing that level of sensitivity, I want you to breathe in your safety and freeing color to that particular area in your body and breathe out the fear sensitivity. That's it. Breathe in the safety, breathe out the fear. Breathe in the safety, breathe out the rejection. Whatever may have happened on that day, whatever's going on in your life, breathe it out. Directional breathing is powerful when used consistently. Number 4 is reframe your childhood traumas daily to discharge built-up energy in the brain and body. You can either do that through my programs, the audios in the programs, or go on YouTube, look up the playlist that says Visual Imagery Sessions, and do them each and every day. Number 5, notice what you have that others don't. It's not all bad, okay? The ability to think deeply about subjects and make uncommon connections is a strength of an HSP. Strong intuition is a strength of an HSP. Being empathetic, an amazing understanding of people and their emotions, and more. So stop beating yourself up so very much. There are traits that you want to bring with you to your next identity, and there are things that you want to leave behind. That's what it's all about, in the creation, in the transformation that you're under towards a new identity and a personality. Are you enjoying this podcast? If you are, please give it a positive rate and review. And if you have any other questions on the #1 anxiety recovery programs available today, head on over to theanxietyguy.com. Remember that you are more than anxiety. Have a wonderful day because you deserve it. Bye-bye.